Hey, this is Kenny from Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my videos. As always, please like and subscribe if you're new to my videos. That would really help me out. In this video, I'm going to do a comparison, a brief comparison between the audiophile favorite, that is Jazz at the Pawn Shop. I'm going to compare two different versions and see which one I think sounds best. I'm going to compare this AudioNautes version of the set. This is a 45 RPM 4-disc set. I'm going to compare that set to this Fidelio 2X HD version. This is a 33 1/3 2-disc record set. I'm going to compare the two of them and see which ones, at least in terms of listening on my system, sounds the best. Now, before I get to the comparison, I'm going to tell you which turntable I used for this comparison. I used a Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge. My Phono stage is a Whest, that's WHEST 0.20 Phono stage. My preamp was a Passlabs X2 preamp. And my amplifier, it is a Balance Audio-Technica VK60 tube amplifier. All my equipment will be listed in the description below. But before I get to the comparison, also I have a Technics SP-15 turntable, and on that turntable I have a Hana ML stereo cartridge. Before I get to the comparison, I'm going to show you, since this was somewhat a recent release, this AudioNautes version of the set, although I think they're sold out of this, maybe across the board. I think it's, when it came out, it was $200, but I think it's probably available on the secondary market. Probably have to pay a premium. But hope I can show you the inside of this set. Got something falling out. Now, it comes with a certificate. Mine's number 563 of 989. My certificate. Comes with a booklet as well. Nice booklet. See if I can show you something inside. Very nice booklet. Comes in a nice box. And the records themselves, I'll show you one of the records. First of all, each sleeve is numbered and hand numbered in the back as well. Hopefully you can see that right there. Each sleeve is hand numbered. Mine is 563. Front of one of the record sleeves, back of one of the record sleeves. There are 4 in the box. I'll show you the labels. They're polyline sleeves. Although one of mine, they forgot to, one of the polyline inserts was missing, so I have to replace that one. That's the label. Overall, at least aesthetically, the set looks very nice. I actually like it. And there's the front, the side, and the back. With again my number right here. Now this particular set, this AudioNautes version of the set, again it's a 4 LP set, pressed at Optimal in Germany, lacquers, cut by Scott Hull at Master Disc. It's a one-step plating process. Again, it's a 45 RPM, 4 LP, 180 gram set. The Fidelio version, Fidelio 2XD version, I think this was issued, it says 2022 on the back of this one. I think I got this one either early this year, 2024 or 2023, somewhere around that time frame. I forgot. This version is cut all analog at Bernie Grunman Mastering. Now, each one of these discs is a 200 gram 33 1/3 disc. And this set cost, and it's still available, $90, whereas the AudioNautes 4 LP set costs $200. Please keep that in mind. The AudioNautes is over double the price. So let me get to the differences in terms of what I heard. Like I said, I was using a Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge. And what I heard I'm going to start with this one. Now, I did a video on the Fidelio version of the record, and I gave the sound a 10. I had nothing to compare it to at the time. I'll show you that inside. I had nothing to compare it to at the time. And also, if I forgot to mention, this one comes with a small booklet as well. A very nice set by Fidelio. Yeah, I had nothing compared to at the time when I did my assessment of this Fidelio version. This is the only vinyl version I had, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. It sounds amazing. But when I compare the Fidelio version with the AudioNautes version, the Fidelio version seems more sound dominant, slightly so. It seems like the performers are more towards you, where the AudioNautes version, it seems more relaxed and you know, seems more like slightly more at a distance. It seems like the Fidelio version, it's almost like you're in a first or front row of a performance, whereas the AudioNautes version seemed like maybe you're like a little bit further back in the audience. So the performers on the Fidelio version are more closer to you. To me, it was slightly more dominant sound. Where the AudioNautes, it seemed like it had more detail, especially on the upper register of the instruments. You know, the cymbal hits or the vibes came across spectacularly on the AudioNautes in terms of, you know, depth, dimension, and soundstage. And overall, the soundstage of the Fidelio, the 45 RPM records, had to have more dramatic punch to them. Seemed like the echo and delay and decay of instruments were a little bit more noticeable on the AudioNautes version. It was more of a three-dimensional experience on the AudioNautes version versus the Fidelio. Don't get me wrong, the Fidelio version is spectacular. It sounds great. The people at Fidelio did an outstanding job putting this one together and this record together. This record together. This is a 33 1/3, and it sounds outstanding. Like I said on my video, I gave this a 10 out of 10. Had nothing to compare it to, but I do now because I have this AudioNautes version, which is very detailed, very dimensional. The sound stage is spectacular. I could hear a difference, for example, when concentrating and listen to the vibes and the drums on the AudioNautes version. It was more detailed and more dimensional on the AudioNautes version versus the Fidelio version. Although Fidelio version, like I said, sounds spectacular. If I were to pick a winner, to me, it was the AudioNautes version of the record. Like I said, it's very dimensional, very detailed, very pristine in sound. The separation of instruments, the sounds, the expansiveness of the soundstage was great. Fidelio is great too, but I give the nod to the AudioNautes version of the record. But you have to keep in mind, the Fidelio version cost $200 when it came out. I think they're sold out. Probably get on secondary market, but you might pay a premium. Whereas the Fidelio was less than half the price at $90. So the Fidelio might be a better value in terms of price and, you know, when you take everything considered. But the AudioNautes, in terms of an audiophile experience, the sound was more pristine, more dimensional, more detailed. That's one of the better, this AudioNautes version of the record is one of the more better records I've ever heard in my life. Now, is this a best sounding record that I've heard? I can't answer that in this video. I would have to do many comparisons to many different records. For example, this right here, Muddy Waters Folk Singer. Now, this is not a dimensional record as far as I'm concerned, but the sound is very pristine and exceptionally clear, but it does not match the three-dimensionality of the AudioNautes. Dave Brubeck's 45 RPM version by Analog production sounds tremendous. Another great sounding record, one of the greatest sounding records of all time, in my opinion, is this UHQR version of Asia. Now, so whether that AudioNautes version of Jazz at the Pawn Shop is the best record I've ever heard, I can't say that now. That would take some very detailed listening sessions, very detailed examinations and comparisons. We also have to keep in mind these listening experiences with all these comparison videos can vary from user or listener to listener. For example, the fact that you're going to pay $200 plus for this record, or this record set, by default, you would think you have an outstanding audiophile system. You're not going to listen to this record on an entry-level system. It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work right. But by default, I assume you have a high-fidelity system, a high-end system. If you're spending $200 on this AudioNautes Jazz at the Pawn Shop version of the record, but depending on your turntable, your preamp, amp, speakers, and the way your system's set up, your music room, those can all affect our opinions on this record. So opinions may vary based on the type of equipment you have, the type of cartridges you use, so on and so forth. That's just my opinion. This is just my opinion. Listen to this record on my stereo system in the room I have and the equipment I have. I'm giving the edge to AudioNautes version. Fidelio version is an amazing record. Sounds spectacular. That being said, since I gave the Fidelio version a 10 in my previous video, and now I have something to compare it to, I'm going to have to discount the sound of the Fidelio version from a 10 probably to a 9, and the AudioNautes version gets a 10. But it would have been cool to have original pressing to make this comparison, or some of the more outstanding pressings after that up to this point. But I don't have that luxury. These are the only two I have. So there could be some versions of this record that eclipse both of these two, but I don't know since I don't have them. So if you're a user of this record, or if you have these two versions of the record or other versions of Jazz at the Pawn Shop, please leave your comments in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate that. But in my shootout, the AudioNautes wins on depth, dimension, soundstage, and detail. It's just a bit more pristine in sound. But please leave your comments in the comment section below on these Jazz at the Pawn Shop. If you have it, the various versions that you have, analog or digital, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love, and keep the peace worldwide.